His name was Ephron, and he owned some land in the central highlands south of what would become Jerusalem and south of Bethlehem. He owned a field near the town of Hebron. The story takes place many, many years before the Jews took possession of the Promised Land. At the time, it was only a promise to Abraham, but one that Abraham knew would only be realized long after his death. But one event gave Abraham a toehold in the land, and it took the generosity of one landowner to make it happen. This is the story of Ephron the Hittite. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Monday, August 7th, 2023. Early in their sojourns, after they had left their homeland and his father's house in Haran, Abraham and Sarah settled in the central highlands of what is now Israel, in or near the town of Hebron, about midway between the Mediterranean Sea to the west and the Dead Sea to the east. It is rugged land, but people have been farming it for many centuries. Even now, you can see evidence of the constant work of clearing the land of rocks in order to create fields for planting and grazing. The underlying stone is limestone, which, over the course of countless millennia, has developed caves, where the flow of water has created channels through the hard rock. It is this feature that comes into play in our story. We read in the 23rd chapter of Genesis that Abraham's wife Sarah died. Because Abraham was not native to the area, he apparently did not own his own land. We presume that he kept flocks of animals and that this was his livelihood. If that's the case, you didn't really need to own land to feed your flocks. They simply grazed wherever they pleased. This must have suited Abraham fine until Sarah's death. This created a bit of a problem. Where would he bury his wife? Abraham went before a gathering of the people who lived in or around Hebron and proposed a land purchase. The Hittites, that's who lived there at the time, offered to let him bury Sarah wherever he saw fit. But Abraham had other ideas. I suspect he knew that if he took them up on their generous offer, a new generation might arise who wouldn't recognize Abraham's claim to the burial site. Abraham had a specific site in mind, a piece of property owned by Ephron the Hittite. "If you are willing that I should bury my dead out of my sight," said Abraham, "hear me and entreat for me Ephron the son of Zohar, so that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, and it is at the end of his field. For the full price, let him give it to me in your presence, as a possession for a burying place." We pick up the story when Ephron answers Abraham. Now Ephron was sitting among the Hittites, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the Hittites, all of whom went in at the gate of his city. "No, my lord, hear me. I give you this field, and I give you the cave that is in it. In the presence of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead." Then Abraham bowed down before the people of the land. He said to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, "If you will only listen to me, I will give the price of the field. Accept it from me so that I may bury my dead there." Ephron answered Abraham, "My lord, listen to me. A piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between you and me? Bury your dead." Abraham agreed with Ephron, and Abraham weighed out for Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the weights current among the merchants. Doesn't sound like it, but Ephron is generous. He's willing to simply give Abraham the field and its cave. This sort of generosity would probably not have been all that remarkable. The rules of hospitality would have suggested it to Ephron. Nevertheless, Abraham insists that he purchase it for full price. Again, Abraham undoubtedly wanted to avoid a future generation reclaiming the land for the Hittites. Abraham clearly wanted to solidify his claim to the property. Now, refusing hospitality is a bit tricky. It can be seen as a slap in the face against the one who extends the hospitality. But Ephron is apparently not willing to let Abraham's insistence on paying for the property become an issue between them. "My lord," says says Ephron, listen to me. A piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver? What is that between you and me? Bury your dead. And with that, Abraham measured out the full price of the field in silver, and the field transferred to Abraham's possession. Seems like a simple story. Abraham wants to buy a cave to bury Sarah. The Hittites want to be hospitable and give him a cave. Abraham refuses their hospitality and specifies a certain cave in a field owned by Ephron. And even when Ephron offers to give him the property, Abraham still insists on paying. This could have created friction between Abraham and Ephron and between Abraham and the rest of the Hittites living there. But Ephron apparently saw why it was so important to Abraham to buy the land. It may not seem like generosity to accept payment, but in refusing to be offended and instead selling the land to Abraham, Ephron granted what Abraham wanted most, a place of his own to bury his wife, a place with no dispute as to its ownership. Tomorrow, the story of Araunah and his threshing floor. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.